I got broads in Atlanta, just to lean the family. Credit cards.
Teacher, fellow classmate, and friends, good day. I'm going to discuss the Administrative Provision and Custom Memorandum Order number 22 to 2010. So, there are 12 sections in Administrative Provision. So, as you can see, it's all about the duties and responsibility about the custom operation, the Assistant Custom Operation Officer, the Custom Guard, and so on. And it's all about the reporting time, meals, and accommodation for the designated Custom Inspector and Custom Guard and the leaves of absence. So the administrative provision under Section 1 entitled the Base Service Section or Equivalent Office. So the Base Service Section is in charge of boarding formalities and the entrance and clearance of foreign vessels. So it supervises and implements security measures in the discharging and loading of import or export shipments as well as to incoming or outgoing crew, passenger, and visitors on board such vessels. So the base service section shall be headed by a chief who shall have direct supervision and control over all personnel therein. He shall issue instruction to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer and who shall in turn be held responsible for the proper execution of the instruction given from time to time and to render reports. So, who shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniforms and insignia, nameplate, custom badge, black shoes, and regulation cap? So, okay, that will be answered under Section 2, the Uniforms and Insignia, and Pierce and Inspection Division. So, the Chief, Base Service Section, Customs Senior Boarding Officer, Custom Inspector, Custom Guards, and Wharfinger shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, custom badge, and black shoes and regulation cap. So, another question. What are the duties and responsibility of the Customs Senior Boarding Officer? So, that will be answered under Section 3, the duties and responsibility of Custom Operation Officer and Custom Senior Boarding Officer. So first, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall have the following duties and responsibility. First is the board incoming foreign vessels outside the breakwater or harbor unless prevented by stress of weather. Second, obtain from the Master of Vessel the necessary information as required in Bureau of Customs APM Form number 15. Next is the sea stores in the presence of ship's officers and the custom inspector assigned on board. Next is the see to it that all custom inspector and custom guards on duty are in their proper prescribed uniform. And lastly, see to it that a custom inspector or custom guard assigned to a vessel is provided with necessary stationery and supplies. So talking about the report of Customs Senior Boarding Officer, so first is, upon his return from an official trip in the bay, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall transmit to the ship bar service section all reports, entries, and other documents delivered by him by the master, agent, or the custom inspector assigned on board vessel. And he also shall prepare and submit his trip report on Bureau of Customs OPM Form number 15 to the Ship Bay Service Section and make reports of any deviation from the assignment order issued to the Custom Inspector and the Custom Guard. So the next question is, what are the duties and responsibilities of the Custom Inspector? So that will be answered under Section 4. The duties and responsibilities of Custom Operation Officer in the Custom Inspector. So the Custom Inspector shall have the following duties and responsibilities. First is supervise the discharge and loading of cargo and to supervise continuous surveillance to protect the interests of the Customs Service. Next is be responsible for the proper disposal of all cargo and stores aboard vessels under their charge. Next is represent the Customs Service in his official relation with the passenger ship officer owner, agent, and consignee and should see to it that the dignity of the service is not prepared. Next is the stay in the vessel to which has been assigned until he is relieved by proper authority, except as a hereinafter provided, or it be necessary in the interest of the service that immediate action be taken. Next is the honor any order, request, or permit of any description only from the following names official. Next is the endeavor to work in harmony at all times with custom employees. Next is cooperate with quarantine authorities in the enforcement of port quarantine regulation promulgated by the Bureau of Quarantine. Next is the familiarize themselves with the provision of the Tariff and Custom Code of the Philippines. And lastly is refer the matter to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer or Ship or Bay Service Section for decision in case he is doubted as to the proper action to be taken. So next is the specific duties upon assuming charge of vessel. So first is, it shall be the first duty of custom inspector upon assuming charge of a vessel. Next is the custom inspector shall instruct custom guards assigned on the gangway to conduct body searches. Next is, while the vessel is docked at the pier or wharf, if the vessel docked at night, the custom inspector shall require proper lighting at the gangway. And next is the relationship of custom inspector with custom guard under his provision. So the custom inspector shall see to it that the custom guard assigned on the vessel are in complete uniform and present a net and clean appearance. And the custom inspector, he shall report to the custom senior boarding officer on duty the unexplained absence of any custom guard assigned to him. And next is the efficiency report for custom guard shall be submitted by the custom inspector for each vessel of which he is in charge. Next is, he shall maintain with logbook to keep a record of events during his tour of duty to include custom guards sent ashore or to another vessel on official business, specifying the following. So we have the time of departure, nature of business, the destination where and when he is to report upon the completion of his business, and the time return. And next, it is essential that an accurate check be secured on all cargoes discharged from unloaded on a vessel. And next is, he shall submit the discharging sequence and or inward foreign manifest duly received in the logbook by the custom wharfinger. And next is the report after determination of duty, a custom inspector returning to shore after the vessel of which he was in charge has sailed or returning to station from an port assignment shall immediately report to the ship. So the report of a custom inspector shall include the supporting documents. So first is the duly accomplished inspector certificate of leaving. Next is the ship side permit, the accomplished certificate of inspection, the certificate of date of last cargo discharge, the certificate indicating the time and the date sales. Next is the general permit, and lastly, all shipping documents. So the next question is, who shall supervise the receiving, handling, and releasing of shipment at the purse? So the answer is port utilization section that supervise the receiving, handling, custody, monitoring movement, and release of shipment at the pier. So that basically under section 5 entitled Port Utilization section. So the port utilization section shall be headed by a chief who shall perform the following functions. So first is the supervise all wharfinger assistant, wharfinger custom guard assigned at the container yard. Next is act on all written reports submitted by the personnel under his provision. Next is be responsible for the conduct, vigilance, efficiency, neat and clean appearance of all personnel under him. Next is required all wharfinger assistant, wharfinger custom guards, and custom gatekeepers to be in complete uniform while on duty. Next is assign his personnel proper and apportioning their overtime as equitable and as fair as possible. And lastly is exercise direct supervision over custom gatekeepers. So next is the inspectors, wharves, warehouses, container fit and the container terminal inside the customs door or the frequently as possible. Next is see to it that the cargoes are transferred properly and promptly to bonded carriers, bonded warehouse, and private warehouses covered by a proper transfer notes. Next is recommend the ship first and inspection division. Next is supervise the wharfinger in the preparation, rating, and submission to the ship of the division, the performance rating of all personnel under them. Next is the recommend any personnel who are serving capable and willing person to civil service rules and regulation for any promotion that are subject to be filled up. Next is the implement of lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper custom authority with regard to his section. So another question is, what are the duties and responsibility of wharfingers? So that will be answered under section 6, provided their duties and responsibility of assistant custom operation officer or wharfingers. So at the pier, so there shall be one finger in charge of each pier who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of custom personnel under him. So at the pier, of course, there shall be each pier. Take note, one wharfinger only each pier. Next is he shall exercise effective supervision over the accessory contractor service regarding receiving, handling, custody, and delivery of cargoes. Next is he shall note carefully the condition of the fender piles and drops and the piers and submit reports thereon. Next is he shall cooperate and assistant other officer of the government performing official function at the piers. So next is he shall supervise the cleaning of the pier and see to it that garbage and obnoxious cargoes are disposed of promptly and properly. Next is that he shall cooperate with an assistant, the enforcement and security service in maintaining peace and order at the pier. Next is he shall recommend the transfer and shifting of cargoes from pier to pier only. Next is he shall process delivery permits and other types of custom permits. Next is he shall or through his authorized representative accept delivery permits and other types of custom permits. Next is he shall submit daily, weekly, monthly, and annual report through proper channels. Next is he shall implement all lawful orders given to inform time to time by proper custom authorities. And lastly, he shall submit report of overstaying cargo to the Chief Purse and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. So next is the outside CYCFC or the off-dock. So when it comes to the outside or the off-dock again, there's still one wharfinger in charge of the outside who will be responsible for the efficiency and the discipline of the custom personnel. So there shall be one finger. And next is he shall receive the transfer note in bound container and inward foreign manifest from the custom guards. Next is he shall supervise the stripping of the containers. He shall receive the stripping tally sheet from the CYCFC warehouseman, and he shall process the delivery permits and the other types of custom permits, and he shall see to it that the cargoes are released and delivered only to the proper parties in accordance with the ranks, countermarks, and registry number of the carrying vessel. And next is he shall assign a custom guard, prepare and sign transfer note as well as. So the next question is, what are the duties and responsibility of the assistant wharfinger? So that will be answered under section 7. So the section 7 entitled Duties and Responsibility of Assistant Custom Operation Officer or the designated assistant wharfinger. So, here are the duties and responsibility of Assistant Custom Operation Officer. So, first is, each cargo shed or warehouse shall be under the direct charge and supervision of an assistant wharfinger. Next is, he shall prepare, rate, and submit rating of this pier, shed, or warehouse custom guard to the wharfinger in charge of the pier. Next is, he shall supervise the opening and the closing of the cargo, the shed or warehouse. Next is, he shall not allow unauthorized person inside the cargo shed or warehouse with or without operation. Next is he shall process all delivery permits pertaining to that shed warehouse before authorizing delivery of cargo therefrom. And next is he shall supervise closely to the activity of the custom guards assigned in his shade warehouse. Next is that he shall supervise closely the activities of the custom guards assigned in his shade warehouse. Next is he shall clear the pier berth of lighters and other obstruction during the berthing and or departure of vessel. Next is he shall assist the wharfinger in charge of the pier and execute all his orders. And next is he shall prepare and sign transfer notes as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones, and bonded warehouse. And next is he shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, or obnoxious cargoes are stored inside the shed or warehouse. Next is he shall coordinate with the arrestry trade or warehouse security personnel and enforcement and security service or ESS in the provision of the privilege of cargoes and other anomalies to defraud the custom revenues. And lastly, he shall perform all functions that may be assigned to him from time to time by superior authorities. So another question is, what are the duties and responsibility of the custom guards? So basically, that is already indicated in section 8 entitled the duties and responsibility of the assistant custom operation officer or the custom guard. So at the pier or the CYCFS, a custom guard shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, and obnoxious cargoes are discharged on the dock without proper permit. Next is when assigned to delivery work, he shall scrutinize the delivery permit properly, the process and signed by the processing wharfinger. Next is he shall check carefully the load of the truck against the gate pass issued in accordance with the mark, countermarks, registry, number, and the total number of packages. Next is he shall see to it that all the deliveries made are duly recorded on the custom guard's delivery sheet. Next is he shall see to it that the wharfinger copy or the delivery permit is retained and the same to be forwarded to the wharfinger concerned upon the completion of the delivery. And lastly, when assigned as conduction guard, he shall see to it that the cargo destined for transfer reaches its destination safely. So the next is the onboard vessel. So a custom guard shall see to it that no person is allowed to board the vessel without a pass. Next is conduct body searches on all person. Next is check cargoes being discharged. And lastly, they shall do that no empty lighters stay alongside the pier without permit. Next is the outside CV or CFS or the off-dock. So a custom guard shall assist the shed or warehouse wharfinger in supervising the receiving, handling, custody, delivery, and stowage of cargo inside the shed or warehouse by the arrestry operator. Next is he shall assist the shed or warehouse wharfinger in attending the inventory of bad order cargo and sign the bad order inspection certificate issued by the arrestry operator. So next is the others. Custom guard shall perform any other work or function that may be assigned to him from time to time by his superiors. So another question is, what are the duties and responsibility of the customs gatekeepers? So that will be answered under section 9, the duties and responsibility of the assistant custom operation officer or the designated custom gatekeepers. So the custom gatekeepers shall report punctually at the terminal gate 1 assigned to him and shall remain there until properly relieved. Next is he shall not allow merchandise to pass through the gate without a gate pass. Next is he must verify and see to it that all the gate pass or the custom copy are countersigned by the wharfinger of the corresponding pier where applicable. Next is he shall see to it that gate passes with alteration and or notation shall not be honored without the signature of the superintendent and the wharfinger. And next is, he shall collect all gate passes which shall be submitted to the office of the wharfinger for reportual purposes at the end of each working day. So next is the custom gatekeepers in charge shall supervise his men properly at the custom zone and per gate, assisting them on whatever problems that may arise. And next is the custom gatekeepers assigned at the exit gater shall be required to open all empty containers to verify whether they are indeed empty and shall keep records of the approved request or permit issue and report and discrepancy to the office of the wharfinger in charge. So, under the same administrative provision, section 10, it is the reporting time of custom personnel. So, the reporting time for custom senior boarding officer, custom inspector, and custom guard are as follows. So, they shall report at and stay in the office of the ship or purse and inspection division and observe regular working hours. And next is the custom senior boarding officer, also the same with the custom inspector and custom guard, assigned to vessel before 8 o'clock a.m. and after 5 o'clock p.m. shall report for duty at least 2 hours before the vessel estimated their estimated time for arrival. So then we have section 11 entitled the meals and accommodation for designated custom inspectors and custom guards. So in the section 11, on board vessel, the custom senior boarding officer shall, when necessary, invite the attention of the master of the vessel to custom regulation which require the serving of meals and providing of suitable accommodation of custom inspector and custom guard assigned on board. And next is to outports travel for expenses. Custom inspector and custom guard traveling at the request and expense of shipping lines or other entities will be allowed suitable accommodation and equal unnecessary expenses for board and lodging subject to existing rules and regulation. So now we are down to the last section for the administrative provision. So we have the section 12, the leave of absence. So the section 12 is all about the application for vacation. Leave shall be filed and approved before such leave of absence is enjoyed by any officer or employee unless prevented by the unforeseen circumstances beyond his control. Application for sick leave shall be filed within 2 days after return to duty, and if it excess of 3 days shall be supported by a medical certificate. So those are the sections